There will come a moment in your life when you suddenly realize that you've been waiting, waiting for a sign, waiting for the right time, waiting for permission, waiting for strength you think you don't have yet, waiting for the perfect day to begin the journey you already know you were meant to walk. And in that silent pause, when you finally hear how loud the waiting has become, you feel a strange truth rising inside you. Growth isn't something that arrives. Growth is something you create. People don't wake up powerful. They become powerful through the decisions they stop postponing. They don't get confident by chance. They build confidence by refusing to delay the life burning inside them. Every day you wait, your future waits too. But every moment you take action, even in uncertainty, even in fear, your future starts running toward you instead of away from you. This is not a message for someone who wants comfort. This is a message for someone who wants transformation. This is for the person who is tired of feeling stuck, tired of hesitating, tired of waiting for growth to magically show up at their door. You deserve more than a passive life. You deserve a life that expands because you choose expansion. You deserve a life that rises because you rise. And today, you will learn exactly how to stop waiting, how to take control of your destiny, your mindset, your habits, and your growth. Step by step, word by word, thought by thought, this will reshape the way you think about progress. This will awaken the part of you that already knows you are meant for more. Let's begin. Step 1. Accept that waiting is a trap. Most people don't fail because they lack talent or intelligence. They fail because they are caught in the silent, comfortable trap of waiting. Waiting feels harmless. It feels gentle. It feels like you're simply giving yourself more time. But the truth is far more dangerous. Waiting is the slow, invisible thief that steals your potential one quiet day at a time. People wait for motivation, believing that some magical spark will suddenly pull them into action. They wait for clarity, imagining that their path will become obvious if they just sit still long enough. They wait for confidence, hoping that courage will appear before they take the first step. They wait for the perfect mood, the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect version of themselves that doesn't exist yet and never will. Waiting doesn't protect you from failure. It doesn't prepare you for success. It only delays the lessons, the experiences, and the opportunities designed to make you stronger. Growth is not delayed by weakness. It is delayed by hesitation. And hesitation is simply fear pretending to be patience. You cannot change a life you aren't willing to live. You cannot build strength in a muscle you never use. You cannot develop courage while sitting in the comfort of safety. The longer you wait, the more your fears multiply, the heavier your doubts become, and the smaller your confidence feels. At first, waiting seems wise, almost responsible, like you're avoiding mistakes. But what's really happening is this. Waiting weakens you slowly. It convinces you that you're not ready, not capable, not good enough. It shrinks your world until the dream you once had feels too distant to reach. And the only way to escape this mental trap is to accept a powerful truth. Waiting has never once created growth. Not in history, not in your life, not in anyone's. Growth begins with action. Not perfect action, not confident action, just action. The moment you decide to move, even in fear, even in uncertainty, you break the trap, you reclaim your power, and you finally give yourself permission to grow. Step 2. Begin before you feel ready. One of the greatest illusions in life is the belief that you must feel ready before you begin. You wait for the moment when fear disappears, when clarity arrives, when confidence rises, when everything inside you suddenly feels prepared. But that moment never comes. No one, in the entire history of growth, has ever felt fully ready before doing something truly life-changing. Readiness is a story fear tells you to keep you safe, small, and unchanged. It whispers that starting later is wiser, that waiting will make things easier, that you'll feel stronger tomorrow. But fear is a liar, because courage does not come before action. Courage grows because of action. Every successful person you admire began their journey with uncertainty. They took their first steps knowing they might stumble. They made mistakes, learned painfully, adjusted constantly, and improved slowly. They didn't wait for confidence. They built confidence through motion. Confidence comes from doing the things you once thought you couldn't do. It comes from taking imperfect steps, failing forward, getting up again, and proving to yourself over and over that you are capable of growth. No one becomes a master by thinking about mastery. They become a master by practicing while still unsure, by acting while still afraid, by showing up even on the days they don't feel powerful. The moment you stop demanding perfection, something incredible happens. Progress becomes possible. When you accept that your first attempt may be messy, your second imperfect, your third uncertain, you free yourself to begin. That beginning, even if small, even if shaky, even if flawed, is more powerful than another day spent planning, imagining, or hesitating. Plans don't create growth. Action does. And the very act of beginning sends a powerful message to your mind. I am moving forward. You don't grow because you feel ready. You grow because you choose to start even when you don't. Let your first step be imperfect. Let it be uncomfortable. Let it be uncertain. But let it happen now. Because the moment you begin, before readiness, before confidence, before perfection, your transformation truly starts. Step 3. Shift from passive thinking to active doing. Your mind is one of the most powerful tools you possess, but without action, even the sharpest mind becomes a burden. Thinking alone makes your thoughts heavy, your decisions slow, and your dreams distant. A mind that only thinks becomes trapped inside its own ideas, replaying possibilities without ever touching reality. But a mind that acts, one that turns thoughts into movement, comes alive with purpose. Thinking is necessary, but overthinking is a prison built from fear, doubt, and imagined consequences. You cannot think your way into a new life. You must act your way into one. There comes a moment when analysis stops being productive and starts becoming avoidance. You tell yourself you're preparing, when in truth, you're postponing. You tell yourself you're planning, when in reality, you're procrastinating. You tell yourself you're dreaming, but really, you're delaying the life you want to live. Your mind can convince you that you're making progress, even when you haven't taken a single step forward. The people who grow the fastest are not those who think endlessly. They are the ones who take consistent small actions even when they are unsure. They don't wait for perfect clarity. They don't wait until every question is answered. They move, learn, adjust, and move again. And with every action, no matter how small, their confidence grows. Their mind becomes clearer. Their path becomes visible. Their life begins to transform. Action and thought must work together. When your thinking guides your steps and your steps reinforce your thinking, momentum becomes inevitable. You begin to understand that ideas don't change your life. Execution does. Dreams don't shape your future. Discipline does. The moment you train yourself to act more than you think, your progress accelerates. Suddenly, opportunities begin to appear. Skill begins to sharpen. Growth begins to compound. A life of passive thinking leads to regret. A life of active doing leads to transformation. The world does not reward good ideas. It rewards those who do something with them. So shift your energy from thinking endlessly to acting consistently. Let your thoughts be the spark, but let your actions be the fire. Step 4. Understand that growth is built in the dark. People often mistake growth for something loud, visible, and celebrated. They believe it happens when others cheer, applaud, recognize, and validate their efforts. But real growth, deep, lasting, powerful growth, happens in silence. It happens when you are alone with your thoughts, your goals, and your struggles. It happens in the late nights when the world is quiet and you choose to work instead of sleep. It happens in the early mornings when discipline pulls you out of bed before comfort does. It happens in the hidden hours where no one is watching and no one is praising. The truth is that the most meaningful transformation is built away from the spotlight. It is built in the dark, where distractions fade, where expectations fall away, where your only competition is the person you were yesterday. While others rest, you practice. While others wait, you prepare. While others talk, you build. This invisible work may feel slow, lonely, and unappreciated, but it is precisely this unseen work that creates results so powerful they eventually become undeniable. Growth is often unglamorous. It is repetitive, uncomfortable, and demanding. It requires sacrifice, sacrificing comfort for progress, excuses for discipline, pleasure for purpose. But this private discipline eventually transforms into public strength. The hours no one sees become the results everyone admires. The struggle no one notices becomes the success people call talent. The consistency no one praises becomes the breakthrough people call luck. When you finally understand that growth is built in the dark, motivation becomes irrelevant. You stop waiting for inspiration and start relying on discipline. You stop seeking applause and start seeking mastery. You stop counting who is watching and start counting who you are becoming. The dark is where you refine your identity. The dark is where you sharpen your skills. The dark is where you build the strength that will later shine in the light. So don't be discouraged if no one sees your effort. Don't be disappointed if your progress feels slow. This is the phase every great person goes through. Embrace the silence. Honor the struggle. Value the unseen. Because the work you do in the dark becomes the power everyone sees in the light. Step 5. Break your identity limits. Many people never grow, not because they lack potential, but because they cling to a limited identity. They convince themselves that they are not the type of person who can succeed. They repeat phrases like, "I'm not confident enough," "I'm not smart enough," "I'm not disciplined enough," "I'm not good enough." And every time they repeat these words, they reinforce the invisible walls that keep them trapped in place. Identity becomes a cage built by self-doubt, reinforced by past experiences, and protected by fear. But identity is not fixed. It is formed. And anything that is formed can be shaped, rebuilt, and completely redesigned. Who you are today is only the result of old beliefs, old habits, and old stories. None of those stories define your potential. You are not limited by who you have been. You are limited only by who you refuse to become. The truth is, your identity is flexible. It bends when you push it. It expands when you challenge it. It evolves when you choose to grow. The moment you stop believing the old narratives that kept you small, you break the mental chains holding your future hostage. Growth becomes possible only when you rewrite your internal story. If you keep telling yourself you're not confident enough, you will. Never take the actions that build confidence. If you believe you're not disciplined, you will avoid the routines that create discipline. If you think you're not capable, you will sabotage every opportunity that proves you are. Real growth requires a shift not in your environment, but in your identity. When you begin to speak to yourself with courage, respect, and belief, your actions naturally rise to match your new identity. You start acting like the person you want to become, and eventually, you become them. Break the story, break the limit, break the identity that no longer serves you. Because the only thing standing between the life you have and the life you want is the story you choose to believe. Step 6. Embrace failure as fuel. There is no growth without failure. Every great success story is built on a foundation of mistakes, setbacks, and painful lessons. People often wait to grow because they think avoiding failure will keep them safe. But waiting does not protect you. It only delays the lessons you must eventually learn. The person who fails 100 times grows 100 times. The person who waits grows 0 times. Failure is not the opposite of growth. Failure is growth. Every mistake teaches you something essential about who you are and who you can become. It reveals your strengths, exposes your weaknesses, develops your skills, and deepens your resilience. Failure forces you to adjust, adapt, rethink, and refine. It shapes your character in ways success never can. Success builds confidence, but failure builds depth. Success feels good, but failure makes you unstoppable. The fear of failure is one of the biggest reasons people hesitate to begin. They imagine everything that could go wrong instead of everything they could learn. They forget that every expert was once a beginner, every master was once unskilled, and every confident person was once terrified. What separated them from everyone else wasn't luck. It was their willingness to fail forward. When you fail with intention, you accelerate your learning. When you fail boldly, you expand your limits. When you fail repeatedly, you build the emotional strength most people never develop. Failure is not something to avoid. It is something to use. It's fuel. It's feedback. It's the roadmap that shows you what to improve so you can rise stronger. Stop waiting for the perfect attempt. Stop waiting for flawless execution. Stop waiting for everything to be right before you take action. You don't grow because you get things right. You grow because you're willing to get things wrong, learn from them, and keep moving. Don't fear failure. Fear standing still, because the only real failure is never starting. Step 7. Build habits that pull you forward. Growth doesn't depend on how motivated you feel. Motivation is a spark. It comes fast, burns bright, and disappears quickly. If you rely on motivation, you will always move in cycles. Working hard one day, losing, energy the next, starting again, then stopping again. Real growth is not powered by emotion. It is powered by habits. The habits you repeat every single day quietly shape your identity, your skills, your mindset, and your future. If your habits are weak, your future becomes uncertain. If your habits are strong, your future becomes unstoppable. Your daily routines are the blueprint of your destiny. Every time you read, learn, train, practice, write, create, or improve, even for a few minutes, you cast a vote for the person you're becoming. These small, consistent actions build momentum. Over time, they become effortless. They become automatic. And when your habits start working for you instead of against you, you no longer need to force yourself to grow. Growth begins to happen naturally. Success is not about pushing yourself harder. It's about designing a lifestyle that pulls you forward without resistance. Build habits that align with the life you want, not the life you're trying to leave behind. Create routines that support your goals, not sabotage them. When your actions reflect your future rather than your comfort, discipline transforms into identity. Small habits, repeated daily, create massive long-term change. 1 page a day becomes 30 books a year. 10 minutes of practice becomes mastery. A short workout becomes strength. A single step becomes a journey. You grow not because you're trying. You grow because your habits are leading you. When you automate your growth, success becomes a natural outcome. You don't wait for success. You become the type of person success cannot ignore. Step 8. Make decisions that reflect your future, not your past. Every decision you make sends a message about who you believe you are becoming. Each choice is a vote cast for your future identity. If you keep choosing comfort, convenience, and familiarity, you remain trapped in the version of yourself you're trying to outgrow. But when you choose courage, effort, and responsibility, even when it's uncomfortable, you step into the next version of yourself. Growth always begins the moment you choose for your future rather than for your fear. Your past is not your guide. Your future is. When you make decisions based on old habits, old pain, old failures, and old patterns, you recreate the same life again and again. But when you make decisions from the perspective of who you want to become, your path changes instantly. Decisions shape identity. Identity shapes habits. Habits shape results. And results shape destiny. This is why growth requires courageous decision-making. Not because it's easy, but because your life is constantly shaped by the choices you make in silence. Choosing to study instead of scroll. Choosing to train instead of sleep. Choosing to speak instead of stay silent. Choosing to build instead of wait. These small decisions may feel insignificant, but they accumulate into a powerful new identity. Stop waiting for life to magically evolve. Life changes when you change the decisions you make inside it. Growth doesn't happen through hoping or wishing. It happens through choosing differently, consistently. Each time you choose what your future needs instead of what your fear prefers, you strengthen the version of yourself you're becoming. Start making decisions that reflect the life you want, not the life you're escaping. When your decisions align with your destiny, nothing can hold you back. Step 9. Seek discomfort on purpose. Growth has a very specific address, and it is located far outside your comfort zone. The truth is simple. If something scares you, challenges you, or makes you uncomfortable, it's usually pointing directly toward the next level of your evolution. Most people run away from discomfort because they think fear is a stop sign. But for people who grow, fear is a green light. It signals expansion. It signals opportunity. It signals a moment where your old self ends and your new self is born. When you purposely step into discomfort, Your mind stretches. Your resilience strengthens. Your confidence expands. You begin to trust yourself more because you repeatedly prove that you can survive situations you once avoided. Waiting for life to become easier does nothing but keep you in the same place. Discomfort is not the enemy. Staying the same is. Think about the people you admire most. They didn't rise because life handed them comfort. They rose because they were willing to experience difficulty without running from it. They learned to embrace rejection, embarrassment, slow progress, and uncertainty. They treated discomfort like a gym. Every time they walked in, they came out stronger. You don't grow by staying where you're safe. You grow by doing what scares you, challenges you, and forces you to adapt. Speak when you want to stay silent. Try when you feel unprepared. Move when you feel stuck. Discomfort will test you, but it will also transform you. When you actively chase discomfort, you stop waiting for growth to find you. You go out and claim it. And that is when your entire life begins to shift. Step 10. Surround yourself with growth-minded people. Your environment is either pulling you upward or dragging you backward. No matter how ambitious you are, no matter how strong your intentions are, the people around you will influence your mindset more than your motivation ever will. If you spend time with people who complain, avoid responsibility, and make excuses, you will slowly begin to reflect their standards without realizing it. You absorb their energy, their thinking, their habits, and their limitations. Stagnation is contagious, but growth is contagious too. When you surround yourself with people who believe in possibilities, who take action, who invest in themselves, who think bigger than their circumstances, your own mindset begins to rise. You start seeing opportunities instead of obstacles. You start thinking in terms of progress, not perfection. You feel supported, inspired, and challenged to become a better version of yourself. Most people wait for the right people to appear in their lives, but waiting is the reason they stay stuck. You must actively seek out growth-minded individuals, mentors, creators, dreamers, builders, learners. Join communities, attend events, follow people who inspire you. Connect with those who motivate you to level up. Even one powerful person in your circle can shift your entire trajectory. Surround yourself with people who talk about goals, not gossip. Growth, not fear. Action, not avoidance. With the right people around you, your potential expands naturally. You rise because the energy around you demands that you rise. Remember this: your future is shaped not only by your habits, but also by your environment. Choose people who reflect the life you want, not the life you're trying to outgrow. Step 11. Commit to daily improvement. Growth is not a moment. Growth is a lifestyle. The people who transform their lives aren't the ones who make one massive effort. It's the ones who stay consistent, even when circumstances are difficult. Daily improvement is the discipline of choosing progress over perfection, action over excuses, and consistency over chaos. Even on days when you feel tired, discouraged, or lost, taking a small step forward keeps your momentum alive. You don't need giant breakthroughs every day. What you need is simple. One small improvement repeated over time. This is where extraordinary transformation happens. Just 1% better each day may seem insignificant in the moment, but over months and years it becomes unstoppable. That tiny daily effort compounds and shapes your skills, mindset, behaviors, and confidence. The greatest achievers didn't succeed through luck or sudden miracles. They succeeded because they refused to go to bed without becoming slightly better than they were yesterday. They practiced, they learned, they experimented, they improved. Daily improvement also rewires your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries and start seeing yourself as someone who grows. And once growth becomes your identity, there is nothing you cannot learn, build, or become. Consistency turns growth into an automatic habit rather than a forced effort. Your life begins shifting in ways you didn't expect, simply because you committed to showing up every single day. Never underestimate the power of small progress. Small progress repeated is what creates massive breakthroughs later. Don't wait for the perfect moment, the perfect mood, or the perfect opportunity. Create progression with what you have, where you are, today. Tomorrow will rise from the work you do now. When you commit to daily improvement, you don't just change your habits, you change your destiny. Step 12. Create a future that demands your best self. Your future is not a distant dream. It is a force that can pull you forward if you let it. When your vision of the future is vivid, compelling, and meaningful, you no longer wait for motivation or the perfect conditions. You wake up with energy. You move with purpose. You think with clarity. You act with confidence. Growth becomes effortless because your future begins to pull you forward, almost magnetically, shaping the decisions you make today. Creating this future starts with clarity. Imagine the life you want to live. Feel it in every cell of your body. Picture yourself achieving your goals, living your purpose, and becoming the person you were meant to be. Let that vision inspire every action. Your present self should act as a bridge to your future self. Every choice, habit, and effort should align with the version of yourself you want to become. The key is consistency and alignment. It's not enough to dream. You must build daily. Small, deliberate actions accumulate over time, and each one adds fuel to your future. Your habits, decisions, and mindset are like investments in the person you're becoming. The more intentional your actions, the faster your future grows. When your purpose becomes non-negotiable, waiting becomes impossible. You don't hesitate. You don't procrastinate. You don't rely on fleeting motivation. You move with certainty because your vision demands it. Growth stops being an option. It becomes a requirement. You begin living a life that stretches you, challenges you, and shapes you into your highest self. The future you create today is the life you will inevitably inhabit tomorrow. Choose to make it extraordinary. Step 13. Take responsibility for your transformation. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to force you to grow. No one owes you change, progress, or success. This life, this journey, this transformation, it is entirely your responsibility. Accepting this truth is both liberating and powerful. When you stop waiting for someone else to push you, you reclaim control over your destiny. Growth begins the moment you take full responsibility for yourself. Responsibility shifts your mindset. You stop blaming circumstances, environments, or other people for your setbacks. You stop waiting for permission, approval, or opportunity. Instead, you recognize that every small decision, every habit, and every action counts. Each moment has the potential to move you closer to the person you want to become. When you take ownership, life becomes a series of choices where you are the architect of your own outcomes. Responsibility also creates power. The more you own your life, the more control you have over the results you produce. You begin actively creating opportunities instead of hoping they appear. You become solution-focused, resilient, and proactive. You realize that even mistakes and failures are under your control because you decide how to respond and what to learn. When you accept full responsibility, hesitation and waiting no longer exist. You no longer blame luck, fate, or circumstances. Every action becomes meaningful. Every challenge becomes a chance to grow. Every success becomes a reflection of your choices. Responsibility is the foundation of growth. The more you take it, the stronger, wiser, and more unstoppable you become. Your life is not shaped by chance. It is shaped by you. Step into it fully. Step 14. Turn your fears into energy. Fear is not the enemy. It will never fully disappear, no matter how experienced, skilled, or confident you become. But fear is not meant to paralyze you. It is meant to guide you. Every time your heart races, your mind doubts, or your body tenses, fear is sending you a signal. You are stepping into growth, change, and progress. Fear is energy, waiting to be redirected. It can sharpen you, heighten your awareness, and increase your focus. It can make you faster, stronger, and more determined than you imagined. The difference between those who stagnate and those who rise is how they handle fear. Most people see fear as a stop sign and retreat into comfort. They let it dictate their actions, hold back their potential, and silence their ambition. But the people who grow see fear as a tool. They harness it, transform it, and use it as fuel. Fear is not a reason to wait. It is a reason to act. When you stop resisting it and start channeling it, fear becomes a source of energy, not a source of limitation. Growth begins the moment you stop seeing fear as an obstacle and start seeing it as a signal. Every fearful step you take forward builds courage. Every challenge you face while afraid strengthens your resilience. Every risk you take despite fear pushes your limits and expands your potential. Fear stops being something that controls you. It becomes something that propels you. When you make fear your ally, it can turn hesitation into speed, uncertainty into focus, and doubt into unstoppable action. Let fear guide you, challenge you, and strengthen you. Let it ignite your inner fire. Because the moment you harness fear as energy, you stop waiting for courage. You create it. Step 15. Live in alignment with your higher self. The highest version of yourself is already waiting inside. It is the person you are always capable of becoming. The one who acts with integrity, courage, and discipline, no matter the circumstances. But you can only meet that version of yourself when you stop delaying, stop making excuses, and start aligning your actions with the principles that define your best self. Every time you choose what is difficult but necessary, you step closer to that higher version. Every choice to prioritize growth over comfort, discipline over distraction, and courage over fear shapes who you are becoming. Living in alignment with your higher self is not about perfection. It is about intention and consistency. Every action you take matters, because each action either moves you closer to your highest potential or keeps you anchored in mediocrity. The small choices, the ones that feel uncomfortable or inconvenient, are the ones that define your character. The decisions you make when no one is watching build your strength, discipline, and wisdom. You align with your higher self not through grand gestures, but through repeated acts of courage, integrity, and persistence. The moment you stop waiting to be ready or be perfect and start acting in alignment with your values, you begin living authentically. Your thoughts, actions, and habits start reinforcing each other. You gain clarity, purpose, and unstoppable momentum. Growth becomes natural because you are no longer resisting your own potential. You are embodying it. Don't wait for someday to become the person you were always meant to be. Start today. Every step, no matter how small, is a step toward the highest version of yourself. Align with it. Commit to it. Live it. Your best self is not a destination. It is a daily choice. Make that choice now. The final awakening. Growth is not something far away. Growth is here. Growth is now. Growth is the choice you make in this moment. Don't wait for better circumstances. Don't wait for confidence. Don't wait for clarity. Don't wait for support. Don't wait for permission. Life doesn't delay itself. So why should you? You were born to rise. You were created for expansion. Every breath you take is a sign that your story is not finished yet. The world needs your talent, your vision, your courage, your voice, your power. So stop waiting. Step forward. Take action. Begin the journey. Because once you stop waiting to grow, you become unstoppable. If you're ready to stop waiting and start transforming your life, you're in the right place. On this channel, we share powerful strategies, step-by-step guidance, and daily motivation to help you grow faster, think smarter, and become the best version of yourself. Every video is designed to inspire action, build habits, and unlock your true potential. Whether it's personal development, mindset mastery, productivity, or fearless living, we bring the tools and insights you need to level up your life. Join our community of growth-minded individuals who refuse to settle for less and are committed to daily improvement. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and start your journey to unstoppable growth today. Don't wait for change. Create it, live it, and rise with us.